Shalom, bruchim habaim. Welcome to this video. So, Yom Kippur is a couple of days away only. And what are the main verbs you need for Yom Kippur? Yom Kippur is all about fasting, praying, and forgiving. So, we will talk about these verbs in this video. So let's start with the first verb, to fast. The second is to pray. And the third is to forgive. So it is fast, pray, forgive. Unfortunately, it is not eat, pray, love. I would prefer that. Okay, to fast, this is the one we start with. That is latsum, pa'al. And what is the root? Because this is not a normal pa'al infinitive by its structure. How could you anyway know that there is a challenge? Well, when you see a vav, apparently part of the root, then you have to watch out. Vavs and yuds are the first thing to spot in an infinitive, and it is always a red flag. So here we have the vav on the second root position. That means we are here in a gizra, that is a subcategory within the binyanim, of ein vav. This is the name of this. Ein vav means we are talking about a root with a vav on the second root position. Now, I understand you might now ask yourself, yeah, so what? Well, so what? I tell you, this affects all tenses. I have laid that out in my book in detail, and of course we are going through that in detail also during the online verb course, because it takes 90 days and we look at all the exceptions. Now, if you're wondering, how can I possibly learn that, and preferably effortlessly? Well, remember similar verbs. In this case, you know probably lagur, to live, reside. Ladug, lazuz. They have the same structure. They are following the same rules. So you have to look at a similar verb in the same binyan. Now, when it comes to lagur, I'm sure you know it is gar, gara. And then it is ladug, dag, daga. Lazuz, zaz, zaza. So here we go. Latsum, yay. Tsam, tsama. Okay? Now, if you're in my newsletter, then you have gotten the conjugation sheet of the three verbs that we are still using in modern Hebrew, because there's one which is biblical Hebrew. We come to that in that presentation. And if you are not yet on my newsletter and you wish to get that kind of information in the future for free, go to my website, sign up. It is hebrew-verbs.com. And then you get for sure the next newsletter where you also get this kind of valuable information. Now, we move on. So we were here. Tsam, tsama, and fast. The noun, the fast, is hatzom. We're coming to the next, to pray. Lehitpalel is hitpael. Makes sense, right? Okay. Here you see it is always a structure, lehit, and then the vowels are a, e. When the vowels are not a, e, we are not in a regular verb in hitpael. And if you're also wondering, is it hitpalel or hitfalel? I mean, here I gave you nikud, but what if you saw it without nikud? Remember, in Israel there are no nikud. Then you would know, because the rule is that hitpael takes it all. Wherever there is a possibility to put a dot into a letter, hitpael takes it. Of course, I'm talking about regular verbs. So here in the present tense, then it is hu mitpalel, he mitpalelet. Okay. And we come already to the last verb, which is to forgive. But now it gets really tricky, because here we have two. Well, we will talk in detail about one, but I want you to know that there are two. Lechaper and lisloach. So, lechaper means to atone, to make amends. And the other one is lisloach, which is to forgive. The first one, to atone, is in the religious context. So nobody is saying today when they want to say, I forgive you, they're not going to say, I make amends or I atone. No, they use the verb lisloach. And here, to forgive, this is the one we are using for everyday life. And with this, we will move on now. So what do we see? This is the typical Pa'al structure. We have a lamed in front of the root, and then we have a vav between the second and the third letter. The only thing that is different a little bit is that we have the pronunciation ach at the end. It is not lisloch, it is lisloach. This is a pronunciation that is very typical for roots, for Pa'al roots that end on chet. So we are talking here about a root that is in the Gizra of Lamed Chet. That means we have Chet on the third root position. But it only affects the pronunciation. Present tense, soleach, hu soleach, he solachat. So this solachat comes because of ach at the end. Soleach, solachat. And we also have here a noun that you know very well that comes from lisloach, slicha. Slicha is not an imperative when you say to somebody, oh, slicha, like, can you please go to the side? Slicha. No, this is the word for forgiveness. This is actually what you're saying. When you say, excuse me, you're actually saying forgiveness. Yeah, doesn't really make sense in the translation, but this is how we use it, slicha, and it is not a verb. Okay, great. This is the end of this video, and the only thing I have left to say is Gemar Chatima Tova.